Hi, I'm Kesher, and this is Roxy, and you're watching Valley Fish. Hi guys, this is Brittany. Jeff is outside playing in the yard. It's been really raining here, and the yard just won't stop growing, so he's out there with his tanks and making some adjustments to his tanks and mowing. So today I'm going to show you our scud tanks and talk a little bit about scuds. Scuds aren't something that I was very familiar with before we got them. I have a science background, so I was familiar with like the planaria and the daphnia and all that, but I was not familiar with scuds. So we have two scud tanks now. We have our main scud tank. I think Jeff did a video on that a couple months ago, and then it got overpopulated, so we had to split it. So I'll show you both scud tanks and give you some tips on keeping scuds and just some fun facts about scuds. So I'm going to turn you around here. This is our main scud tank. You can see them zooming around in there because right up front here where the shrimp is, we dropped a green bean earlier. So the two shrimp are on there. They are Blue Dream shrimp. We got them from Mark Shelley. Thanks, Mark. These two were darker than the rest, so Jeff separated them to try to see if we can maybe continue that line. I know the one's definitely a male, but the other one might be female, so we're gonna see. But you can see the scuds all swimming around in there. So scuds are actually a crustacean. They are similar to like a, I know Kesher's whining because he wants to go outside. They are similar to a shrimp. So they are sometimes called side swimmers. I don't know if you can see when they're swimming around in here, but when they get going real fast, and especially zooming around this little circular tank, they'll kind of flip on their sides. So they are in the genus Gamaris, and there are actually over 200 species of scuds. So we don't know what species we have. They actually came in on this visited moss that we have right here. So like I said, we're not sure what species we have. They are native to North America where we live, but they can be found all the way to Southeast Asia. They can live in saltwater or freshwater. These are freshwater scuds. So we started with just a few. Like I said, they came in on this visited moss, and then this tank was kind of starting to get overrun, so we went ahead and split them. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get close enough to where you can actually see what they look like up close, but you can definitely Google it. They're weird looking little things. They actually have 7 pairs of legs, so they have 14 legs, and they have 2 sets of antennae, so 4 antennae, and then they have a tail also, and they have a hard exoskeleton. Now when they breed, the male scud will carry the female scud on his back for up to a week, and then when she's ready to molt, she'll do that, and then they'll breed. The females have a brood pouch just like a shrimp, and so the females hold the eggs in their brood pouch for up to 3 weeks. The eggs hatch, and then she carries the young for about a week. So very similar to how shrimp breed. It's kind of hard to tell when they're buried up though, because they're so little and they're gray and the eggs are gray. And they move really fast too. So if you read online about scuds, it's going to tell you all sorts of fancy ways to feed your scuds. One way, ooh, there's one that's carrying a female on his back. Can you see him right there? Anyways, so they'll tell you to take a boiled egg and mash it up in some water and leave the water to sit so the bacteria grows, and then feed them that. Or it'll tell you to get some yeast packets and mix them in a ratio with water and mix that up and feed to them. But the easiest way to keep them is in a tank with some plants and maybe some snails. We feed ours, well, we have some shrimp in there too. You can see the shrimp right there. But we feed ours green bean, we feed them celery, we feed them zucchini, we fed them cucumber. They'll eat any kind of like decaying material or plant material, and they'll even eat animal material. So this is the maid scud tank. It sits next to this guppy tank, and the light kind of shines over it, which is good for the plants. The scuds actually prefer the dark. They'll be a lot more active in the evenings, but we put that green bean in there just a couple minutes ago, so they're zooming around in there after the green bean. But so we have this guppy tank here. There's pleco on the glass. And then on this side is our secondary scud tank. Now we fed this tank yesterday, so there won't be as many moving around, but there is one right there making his appearance. And then the green beans down here, and there are a couple crawling on it. So to split it, Jeff just picked out this one bit of Physodin moss and plopped it into this little 1-gallon tank. You guys have probably seen this. He had some guppies in it before, but now it's a secondary scud tank. He just did a water change, put the old water into here, and plopped this bit of Physodin moss in there and hoped some of the scuds were on it, and they were. They're doing pretty well in here. You guys can see them. I think that's a pair right there, actually, that were together. So anyways, that's a little bit of information about scuds. We've had pretty good success just keeping them in this little, I think it's supposed to be a terrarium. We got it from Walmart. And he's got some gravel in there. He's got a sponge filter in there. It's not too much movement, but they do like oxygenated water. And then they just are happy in there. So if you have any questions about scuds, Jeff can probably answer more questions than I can, but sure, leave them in the comments. And if you maybe know what species we have, or if you have any suggestions for keeping them, something that they like that we haven't been doing, also leave that comment down below. And Roxy and Casher say thanks for watching. See you next time.